we're back today on the GGRated podcast. We're going to have two main topics that are pretty awesome. We're going to get a little bit in our brains about stuff and break down some very interesting things. We're back from our holiday hiatus with Season 3 of the GGRated podcast. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, guys. Got a good one for you.
Hello, welcome to GGRated. We hope you enjoy the show. Now here are the hosts.
Here we go. We're getting things off and running. It's a little bit rocky because I just got my laptop back, so I'm plugging everything back in on Streamlabs and getting all our audio situated. But you don't care about that. You care about gaming tech, movies, and news, so that's what we're going to go over today. How you been, dude?
I've been good, man. I've been good. I'm happy to know that we are now into Season 3, man. I mean, we've been going at this thing for a long time. We got some dedicated, I guess you can call them fans, some following, and just talking about some gaming, talking about some tech, talking about some movies, news, all the stuff we love to talk about. So I'm just glad to have another episode, another year. It's now 2025, guys. Happy to be here. Me
too, man. And, you know, like a bunch of different things have come up. I'll just kind of go over what's been going on in my life real quick. We had our baby girl was born, and we had some complications where she was in the NICU, and it got kind of scary there for a minute, but thankfully everything is good now, and so we just kind of held off on recording. There was like a multitude of things going on, and Gino's been doing some streaming in the meantime, so definitely go check out E. Evans Jr. on TikTok. The Evans Jr. on TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff.
But let's talk about Will Said. I mean, like, guys, that's why we took a little bit of time, because first off, with this channel with us, family's always first. So if something comes up, you know, we're going to deal with that. And I know Josh had, like you said, had some complications with the birth and everything of his daughter. But it looks like everything turned out to be okay in the long run. Yep. And she's a healthy baby girl. I just saw her a second ago. A matter of fact, when he was showing her off. So I just want to say, hey, congratulations to Raven and you, Shep, all y'all. You know, so I'm happy for all y'all, and I just want to throw that out there to y'all, man.
Hey, thanks so much, man. It is so cool being a girl dad now. I'm already a very blessed father of two boys.
Just wait.
And now I'm a girl dad.
Just wait. I have a 14-year-old daughter. Just wait.
Yeah, I got a T-shirt that says "Girl Dad," which is pretty awesome. So I've been rocking that whenever I could. So just exciting. I've been playing some games in the meantime. We might talk about a few of them. We got a couple of interesting topics I wanted to talk about. I actually sent you some notes while I was in the gym because, you know, my mind was getting stimulated by all the endorphins I had going on. And I had been kind of thinking about this before, but I wanted to kind of hash it out on air. It's why gaming gets dull sometimes and the different moods you get in, and why I transition in and out of VR and different ways that my brain needs to be stimulated, and giving yourself permission to go do those different things. And that'll make more sense when I kind of break it down, but that's kind of what I wanted to talk about as my main topic. And I think you had a main topic as well that you wanted to go over.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'll just say that as well. I kind of want to talk about, because I've been doing it a little bit. I've been kind of hitting it head on, which you mentioned a little bit, TikTok and streaming in general, right? And I also got some gaming news I want to talk about in reference to the new RTX. NVIDIA just released some new graphics cards, which you might be surprised about the pricing and the performance on these graphics cards. And then finally, I kind of want to get into a little bit on this Nintendo Switch 2 leaks that's coming out. It's the utmost hype that's going on right now with every single leak, and it seems like somebody's going to announce it before Nintendo actually finally announces this thing. So we got some interesting topics to talk about, and then maybe at the end, if we have time, we can get into, I've been watching this show called Secret Level.
Oh
Josh,
yeah,
you kind of
Secret
told me a
Level's
little
really
bit
good.
about it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I binged it the other day, and I just got to talk about it. So
Sweet.
we got some great topics.
Awesome. Well, let's get into it with our first thing that we haven't done in quite a while, our gaming moment of the week. Let's roll into that right now. Gaming moment of the week. This moment is our favorite gaming moment from the past week. For us, it'll be the past few weeks of our favorite gaming moment. We kind of go into details, what was going on, what made it cool, what made it fun. If you would like to send in your gaming moment of the week, please reach out to us on any of the platforms, in the chat or in the inbox, or at ggratedchannel@gmail.com. I think I can go ahead and kick this off and say that I have been waiting so long to play the new Zelda. There's a few different games that I've been playing that I would like to mention in the gaming moment of the week, but I'm going to try to narrow it down because I have also been playing crap. What's the mech game I've been playing? Why did I just blank on it all of a sudden?
It's not Mecha Break.
No,
Armored Core.
Armored Core. Thank you, golly.
Yeah.
Armored Core 6 maybe is what it is. I never played a lot of the Armored Core games back in the day, but I started playing the new one. It is really fun. I've had really amazing moments in there. But the game particular I wanted to mention was the new Legend of Zelda game. Not Breath of the Wild, but the newest one. Why not?
You talking about the?
Why am I blanking on all these games? Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Dude,
you're putting me on the
sorry.
spot here.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, man. Just that main thing where you jump off the top after you do the first few things that you got to go solve the puzzles. The things that are glowing out of the ground. Why am I blanking on all my words? The shrines. Oh my gosh. Yes, the shrines.
I got you, bro.
Thank you.
I got you.
The shrines, man. So the shrines, when you do your first few shrines and you finally unlock the big doors and you jump off and just, dude, that whole thing, being like reintroduced to that world. I played Breath of the Wild when I was going through a really hard time in my life. So it brought me a lot of comfort. And it was really bringing back those feels when I got back into this world.
One of your favorite games, isn't it? Breath of the Wild.
One of my favorite games, dude. And when I got back into this world, there's really no other world that does that for me like this game does. So when you're jumping off and you're skydiving down, you do it a couple times, but the last time that I've done it, it's kind of at the beginning of the game where you do the first 3 shrines, which that was awesome. And you jump off the world and you're kind of introduced to how massive this world is and how alive it really is. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad to be back here. I just love it. So that was my gaming moment. I've been playing that a lot. There's all kind of new stuff you can do. A lot of people like to poop on it because it's like, this isn't different. Dude, there's so much new stuff though. It's really like a whole new way of exploring that world. And honestly, I'm glad they kept a lot of stuff because there's also new monsters. Thank you, shit. But yeah, it's really cool.
You had to make sure you mention those monsters.
We've been playing it together, and dude, I got to give a shout out to my nephew. So I bought a Steam Deck, a Switch OLED for my son for Christmas, and I was like, oh, so when he's not using it, I'm gonna have to play that. But he uses it all the time, so I was like, when am I ever gonna get to play Tears of the Kingdom? My nephew gave me his old Switch.
That's awesome.
The only downside is for us both to play Tears of the Kingdom at the same time because I bought it digitally because everything was closed on that day.
You learned quick.
Yeah, I have to log on the internet so that it says it's okay for me to play it, and then I have to log off of the internet, and then we can both play at the same time. We have our own different saves and everything, but we're playing on the same account. That is kind of a workaround. And I don't have to log on to the internet for a while if it doesn't stay asleep for a while. Like, it's a whole thing, but that's neither here nor there. I'm able to play this thing and have my own save, and it's been really fun. So that's my game moment of the week.
Yeah, and just to talk about that a little bit with when it comes to, I know I'm a little off because I decided to stand up at my desk a little bit.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah. So, but I Tears of the Kingdom, I actually have the game. I haven't played it yet because I beat Breath of the Wild. I was I can't play Tears of the Kingdom till I beat Breath of the Wild, and I did, but I just been sucked into some other stuff, which goes into my gaming moment of the week is Indiana Jones came out. I'm not a big Indiana Jones fan. Okay. I've never watched the shows or anything. I know I almost got slapped when I told somebody that the other day. They was like, "What?" It was Chuck at AMC. He was looking at me like, "What? You never watched Indiana Jones?" No, I just never really got into it. Which you know how I feel about puzzles, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I decided to play it. Man, it was such a beautiful game, man. Like when you get into it, and I streamed it a little bit on my TikTok channel, and I just got into it. And in the puzzle, they have modes on here which I really liked, where you have light, moderate, hard, expert. So if you don't like the puzzle too much, they make it very easy to figure out the puzzles. So if you want to go through the story aspect of it, which is really good, it really works out. So that was really my game moment of the week. Whenever he goes to try to place the bag and take the treasure, I guess, from this podium, and he places the bag, he throws their exact weight, and then all of a sudden he starts trying to run out. And the coolest part of it, which is kind of terrible, but the guy that's with him double crosses him and says, throw me the item, and I'll throw you your whip or whatever, so he can get across this big gap when he's trying to run out the temple. And he throws him the item, but he just leaves. So he had to jump the gap, and he barely made it out. And when he gets to the other side, there's like these spears that come out the wall, and you see the guy with spears going through his body, and he's just dead,
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you get, for double cross. That's what you get. So he ended up making it out, and then he flashes back to before I guess he goes to this temple or something like that. So they go one for one with the movie. So it kind of makes me want to watch the old movie, Indiana Jones. But super cool little moment. Along with the other night, just I got to throw in, Josh. I have to, when we was playing Resurgence with me, John, you, and Derek, and all of us, some Call of Duty. That was super fun too. So, but that's the same stuff. But these single player games, man, like you're saying, Tears of the Kingdom and all this stuff, these experiences that they have, and I feel like a lot of these companies like Microsoft, PlayStation, all that, are starting to realize that, hey, we need to keep making these sort of games instead of these microtransaction games. Not to go all into it, but yeah, that was my gaming moment of the week.
Dude, that's awesome. The guy at the beginning that double crosses him, that's Doc Ock. So
I knew I recognized him. Isn't
that crazy?
Dude.
That was just him back in I guess that was filmed in like the 80s. Yeah, so interesting little tidbit there for you. Yeah, he does look super young, so thought that was cool. I guess
it was the 80s.
Uh-huh.
But if you're an Indiana Jones fan, make sure you leave a comment down below, and if you beat the game, tell me what you thought about it.
Yeah,
as well as Tears of the Kingdom. Let us know if you beat it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So sweet, man. So yeah, we'll just keep this thing rolling. We're gonna go right into the gaming news. You got some good news for us, right?
I do.
All right.
So I'm gonna try to bring that up.
While you're bringing that up, let me just do this to make it official. Gaming news. Let's go. So I'm excited for this news that you got. You always bring us some really good gaming news, so I'm excited to see what you're coming up with.
Yeah, and I'm trying to bring up the prices real quick for you. Is what I'm trying to do because I'm going to the NVIDIA website, 5090, so I can tell you the exact prices.
Oh, you're talking about you're going to be talking about the new graphics card, right? From NVIDIA.
I am. I'm going to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, hit me with it.
There's the reason I want to bring up the prices is because it's so significant that you're really going to like this. So
is it the 5070 is the one?
The 5070.
The
The
5070.
5070.
Okay.
It's going to be, so I'm going to talk about two, okay? Because that's the only thing I'm really going to concentrate on here. So the thing that a lot of people's not understanding with games these days is VRAM. VRAM comes on these GPUs. And before I get into it, guys, NVIDIA that has a lot of GPUs, they just released a new line of graphics cards, okay? You have the 5070, you have the 5070 Ti, the 5080, I believe. And there was another one as well, but I'm not the 5090. Okay. Now, the VRAM for the 5070 is 12 gigabytes. If you go to the 5070 Ti, it goes to 16 VRAM. The reason that's significant is because, for example, what we just talked about with Indiana Jones, a newer game that just came out, and I know you got it pulled up now, it takes a lot more VRAM. So it's going to struggle a little bit more. Now, the big things about these cards is they have AI, DLSS4, which generates very high frame rates and all, and it helps. So what it'll do is, for example, they gave an example with Linus Tips. I have to give him credit on this.
Yeah, that was a good video. I watched that too.
Yes, he actually was able to run Cyberpunk with the 4090. Okay, and the 4090 does just all the work for itself. But on the 5090 or the 5070, I'm sorry, the 5070, the new one that's coming out, 80% of that's going to be run off of AI. So you're not going to be able to really tell, and you're getting like less the work, but you can double the frame rates, man. Mm-hmm. So what I was showing with his video is with the old graphics card that, by the way, the 4090 costed $1,200 for just the graphics card. This new 5070, they say, will have the same power, do the same thing as the 4090, is only going to cost $529. So it's a spit in the face for everybody that spent $1,200 the year before. But the good news is, for somebody that's getting into it now and looking to upgrade, like say me or yourself, going from 3000 to a 3060 or a 2060 Super or something like that, this will be the time to buy, guys, for $529. Possibly going to go even lower by next year. Now would be the time to buy it, because it will be less than even buying a console at this point to go with that. The big thing, though, is you need to look at yourself and say, hey, do I really want more VRAM or not? If you want to future-proof this thing for the next 6 to 7 years, you want to go to the 5070 Ti. If you want to sit here and be good for the next, let's say, 3 or 4 years, I think you'd be perfectly fine with the 5070. So NVIDIA finally dropped prices. Everybody's killing it now. You can always go up higher to the 5080 or the 5090, which absolutely is astronomical. The teraflops and everything is ridiculous. So I'll go ahead and tell you that now. The 5080 comes with 16 gigs of GDDR7 memory, 10,752 CUDA cores, and a TDP of 360 watts. For a lot of people, they're not going to know what any of that is, but I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all. The top-end RTX 5090 comes with 32 gigabytes of GDDR7 memory and a whopping 21,760 CUDA cores with a TDP of 570 watts, which that's a huge power bank, man, that you're going to have for there.
Yeah.
The biggest thing you want to remember, if you go to get the 5070 and you're looking to upgrade your graphics card, I see you showing the comparisons, right? Mm-hmm. It only takes 2 slots on your PC for the 5070. Okay. But for I think like the 5080 and the 5090, I think it's going to be upwards to like 3 slots. So you're going to have to take 3 slots, but it all still fits into your PCI port. So, yeah. I mean, it's some significant advances. AI is really taking off with this stuff. Oh, yeah. I saw, like I said, on Cyberpunk, you run in 120 frames a second, right? In 4K. And then if you get this 5070, the 5070, they can run 240 something frames a second.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which I'm sure you said you saw it on Linus Tips, and that's what I saw that at. So, and that's real world stuff. But it's going to be an awesome little memory card, a graphics card. I say memory card, good graphics card to snag if you're able to as well.
Yeah, I'm excited because, man, I'm still rocking the 2070 Super laptop, the Lenovo Legion 7i.
Still
So
kicking, baby.
still
Still
kicking. I
kicking.
got 32
But
gigs of RAM. I mean, like it's not a slouch, but it's definitely dated.
if you're like Josh and you're looking at getting a new PC or upgrading, say for even your kid and all that stuff, I'm telling you, it's going to be extremely hard probably to find those 5070s. But I say what you need to do is go ahead and pre-order it, get the Founders Edition, or you might can wait a few months, especially like when Josh is talking about March, April, and you usually have like MSI and Asus and all of them. They usually third party will have those graphics cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I know specifically I use I believe it's an MSI NVIDIA RTX 3060 in my computer. It's just the same as the Founders Edition, but the Founders is going to be a little bit more. But that's what I would do. Go ahead and get on it. Try to pre-order it if you can, if you know you want it, because by the time it comes out, you're not going to be able to just walk in the store and grab one of those things.
We're gonna see how that pans out. I'm either gonna get the 5070. I'm either gonna get the 5070 or the 5070 Ti. So yeah,
I'm going to try to just push them a little bit to that Ti. Because I just want to see what it does, man.
Yeah, dude. Because
it's not my money, right?
We're gonna stress test that thing that night probably. So we're gonna crank it up. That'll be really fun. So I'm excited about that. Awesome. Yeah.
But that would be your gaming news for the new 2025 podcast, guys. And drop your comments down below. Let me know what graphics card do you have and if you plan on upgrading.
Yep. So yeah. So I guess we'll just go into our final topics here. What we're going to talk about is this one.
Yeah.
That'll work. Our main topic for GGRated. Okay. So do you want to go first or shall I?
Yeah. You go ahead and go first. I know I just did the gaming news, so you knock it out. Tell me what you think.
So I've been kind of thinking about this because this comes up from time to time where I'll go to sit at my desk and play a game, and I might be entertained for 20 minutes or so, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this, and I feel like I'm trying to force it. Like, what is it different? And it's interesting because I go like in and out of VR. And I had a buddy of mine, Matt, who's been on the podcast a couple times with some stuff. And he was like, he created a Discord. He was like, and the name of it is VR Peeps. And, you know, there's different people in there who play VR. So we've been playing some tactical games. We've actually been playing another game that is basically just like Sea of Thieves. So it was cool to like hop in and have those experiences again. And I find myself transitioning in and out of VR, and I think back in the day, I put myself in this category of, okay, I'm a Call of Duty player, like that's what I enjoy doing. That's
like a lot of us.
That's what's cool. And then as I slowly branched out to different games and have these different experiences, I find myself having to kind of go with the flow more and not force it. Like I go do other things. Like right now, I'm wanting to get into woodworking. So a way for me to scratch that itch was maybe to do some stuff in VR where I'm actually like moving my body, you know, doing different things.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit about like giving yourself permission if a game isn't hitting, because a game can become like work, like you're grinding, like I want to get this next thing, and you get stuck in that, and then it's not fun anymore, but you're almost kind of forcing yourself to do it. Like when a game starts to turn into that for you, I think you're kind of doing it wrong to where you're just going through the motions instead of getting into your passion like how you originally started it, right? So
I agree.
So like I gave myself permission to kind of back off and be like, all right, I'm going to play some VR. I'm going to have these different experiences. And then I might be going into a season where I don't even play games for little while. Like I'm gonna go build something out of wood, and I think just to like be able to talk about it and us say like, hey, I'm gonna give myself permission to take a break or to just go play this game. Like right now I could play a little bit of Warzone, and I've been playing, you know, some other stuff, but I think what I'm getting to is the game should be serving us, not us serving them. And I think that's where a lot of developers get you, is you almost this thing of where
You have to log in every day.
You have to play my game or you're missing out. The game should be serving you. We pay them for the entertainment. Like we don't like it doesn't make sense if you do it the other way. So I think I want to talk about that, getting your mind into the right headspace, because a lot of our listeners could be like, this could be a thing that they're suffering from, right? So that's kind of
yeah, and kind of touching what you're saying there, I kind of agree. And we touched on it a little bit a few days ago, and it kind of goes into the streaming aspect too, because you see these streamers and stuff constantly every day playing the same game, grinding, leveling up, and you see all this cool stuff that these developers put in there that you have to play this game for so long, and you get sucked into just playing this game and this game and this, you know, every day logging in. If you log in 10 times, you get a free loot box or something like that, you know, and you find yourself making it more of not a hobby, you're making it more of a job, you know. And we talked about it over and over again about having it where this is kind of our relief. This is kind of our get away from reality kind of thing, right? And we enjoy the stories and we enjoy the different things in that aspect. But when you start turning it into, I don't really feel like it, but I need to hop on tonight, you know? And I think even comes down to like me and you, Josh, you know, you might be feeling a certain kind of way, not wanting to get on, not wanting to do something, you know, like you're not feeling it tonight. And I am. And I just want to play like a single player game, just chilling out by myself, not talking, just getting sucked into the story. Kind of like when you play Tears of the Kingdom, you know, like we're not playing together. You're doing your thing. You're getting sucked into the story. You're having fun. You're getting that relief. And I think that's okay. I don't think that's something that you have to, you know, feel ashamed or be like, oh, I got to go play with my friends tonight and stuff. You know, you got all kinds of different ways to play these games, but more often than not, sometimes you got to back away and kind of do something else. Get outside, play some ball, do some other things. We can name a million different things, but you just got to make sure that this is for entertainment and it's not becoming just a habit of, oh, I'm going to lose sleep. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to get unhealthy, all because I got to get on that game system.
You want to have like maximum amount of fun you can, like, and you have to have enough, kind of enough discipline to be able to tell your brain like, okay, hey, we're going to stop now because I know doing these other things are probably better for me. And a lot of these games, a lot of applications, a lot of different things are designed to keep you involved for as long as possible, to like keep you going, to like you even look on, you know, like social media is to keep you scrolling. And
that's a good comparison.
Yeah, and I think they're designed in that way, and a lot of times you have to almost snap yourself out of it because you can start to feel ashamed, like you're not doing enough in the game. Like, oh man, look at these other players who are so much better, you know.
And I know I keep kind of I'm bringing kind of my topic kind of into yours a little bit because it's kind of intertwined. But like I said, with the streamers and all that stuff every day getting on there, and that's what you're watching, right? These kids are watching it every day, you know. It kind of brings another aspect whenever you decide to do it. Like I know recently we had a conversation. I just got into streaming on my channel, and you know, me and you, when we would play, we would sit here and talk, and we would have those moments, and it was moments that you and me shared, right? That we talk about it on gaming moments of the week or something, right? But now you got other people coming into chats and coming into streams, and like you're talking to them, and it's like, are you taking away from that moments and what makes it enjoyable, right? So you kind of got to have a balance on the streaming side of it, right? And now are you making it more like, oh, I need to go play this game because that's what everybody else is playing? When we first streamed, and when I first streamed, we had one of the most successful streams when you and me did it. You was on GGRated, I was on the The Evans Jr. channel, and we did rock climbing on Expeditions, this new game, right? We had a ton of people come in there. We was killing. We played for hours, and we was doing great, but we didn't feel like we haven't played it since because that's just not us. We don't play those games every single day. We're not going to be on the steering wheel every time we get on the system, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to be playing different story games, different, you know, I might play my NCAA football game. You know, you might play your Tears of the Kingdom by yourself, you know? Like we have these different games that fill our needs because it's entertainment for us. We don't try to sit here and play these games for everybody else. But sometimes you get sucked into it, I feel like.
Yeah, so I think it's just always something good to like hit on and kind of like keep it at the maybe at the forefront of your brains when it comes to this stuff,
Yeah.
because things can quickly get out of hand. Because we have access to so many fun things now that it's always cool for me to be able to verbalize like how I'm juggling all these different things and still being able to enjoy myself in a way that isn't harmful to other parts of my life. So that's just kind of how I wanted to talk about
and
it.
especially, you got that newborn now too, and that's a great example. How many people have new kids and new life and all that stuff, and they used, play games. They have this routine, right? And maybe you can speak on this a little bit more, Josh. I mean, how difficult has it been kind of adjusting with like with the little one and stuff, trying to keep kind of like your habit, your hobby going with the gaming? Like, how has that been?
Right now, it's pretty easy because she's so little, and like the other day, she went to sleep on my chest for like an hour, so I sat there and I could like look at her and I would give her a little kiss, and then I would play on my phone. I was playing Pokemon Pocket, the trading card game Pocket, which is a great
download that game.
Oh,
it's
great awesome,
great
and
game.
I am like,
great game.
I am just
I
obliterating
got
people.
Almost every
on there.
card. I'm missing 2 cards, guys.
I got
2 cards.
some banging decks, dude. I'm just obliterating people. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I don't play Josh anymore in the decks. He's got 2 good decks.
They're really good. But so like I find different ways to do that, and then so it really hasn't been that difficult because she's so little, and that might change when she's like, Dad, I want to go do this or that, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna have to put some other things aside to do what's important. But most of my gaming time, like right now, I'm off work for a while, so I'm like bonding with the kid. We're doing things like I'm spending a lot of time with the kids. So when I go back to work, I'll be playing most of my stuff during my breaks at work. So that's
so
how
you can spend time with the kids at the house. And,
And then
but,
a lot of my game will be on the weekends, at night when everybody's in bed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's usually when I do my gaming, as you know. It's usually after everybody's in bed. But I know we a lot of people, if you've been followers from the beginning on this channel, me and Josh also have a very good second hobby of doing camping with the boys and stuff like that, or going camping ourselves sometimes and stuff. So the weather should be warming up, coming up here soon in the next few months as well. So hopefully we can get on out there, and we have some content for y'all and some discussions about all that. Because guys, you can't just have your only hobby. I'm just going to say that you can't have your only hobby as being gaming and all that. So a lot of people have this sense of when they talk about gamers, and it's like, oh, they're nerds. They're not athletic. They don't go outside. They don't do this. And it's a false sense, I think a lot of them have, because they just don't know. They don't get intertwined in the gaming community. You can have fun and do all that stuff, but you can also have other hobbies of going out and, being a coach for a baseball team, going camping, doing all this different stuff. And I think it's healthy to have all that kind of stuff, along with gaming.
Yep. I think so too. But that's always good to talk about, especially being dads and avid gamers and all that good stuff. There is one more thing. So you have a topic too, don't you? That you wanted to hit on?
I kind of intertwined a little bit, but I just kind of wanted, like I said, talk about the streaming aspect of gaming.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I kind of intertwined a little bit about it, but just kind of talking a little bit more about it. Like I said, I feel like it's a balance. I feel like everybody's out. If it's not even just gaming, let's kind of get off the gaming aspect of it, right? So I recently started taking a little bit more serious TikTok on my channel. And I kind of started trying to build up, get to that 1,000 followers to try to get the TikTok shop, which, TikTok might get banned as far as we know at this point. Mm-hmm. But if it doesn't, then you're building that kind of brand, you kind of building it up, and you do make money on live, and you do make money on the TikTok shop to make that passive income. But I know we discussed this a few days ago, and I mentioned it just a second ago, but, you kind of got to take it slow. You kind of got to set some boundaries with it, right? Mm-hmm. And you kind of learn along the way. you don't want to give up what you enjoy. Is what I get the sense. Like, I think the last time you and me played, and I'm kind of letting y'all in on how we've been doing, guys. But I'll be streaming on The Evans Jr. channel, and we was playing Rebirth the other day, me, Josh, and some buddies. And I think it was the first time that I was able to really feel like I balanced being live, but also enjoying being with my friends, right? Being able to talk to them, not talking to the chat, not just, hey guys, thanks for the likes, thanks for this, thanks for that, the whole entire time, and not being present with the buddies in the chat, you know? So, and I feel like it's going to take some work because it's something new, right? Every time you try something new, it's going to take some work to balance it. And I think people can do that, but I feel like I see a lot of people completely give up and get more concentrated on the aspect of, I'm just looking to make money. I'm sacrificing all that makes me happy just to make that money. And I don't know if people have those issues or anything, but I know it's been a little bit. I think you're lying to yourself if you say you don't, because there's no way that you can go from just playing games with your buddies to live streaming all the time, right? To saying that you talk the same and all that stuff, because you got to watch what you say, you got to watch what you do, you got to be able to communicate differently, and you got to talk to your chat at the same time, right? You can't just sit there and stare at the camera, right? So there's a balance to it. I feel like I finally found it a little bit. I still got some more work to do, but I mean, how do you think that kind of affects? I mean, what's your take on that, Josh? What's your feeling on all that? I know we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, we did kind of hit on it a little bit. I think it's one of those things where it depends on the person. Like if you have a person that is pretty self-aware and is knowing like, hey, like why am I doing this? You know, all these things. Yeah. Like how you're approaching it. I think it's a really healthy way to approach it where you're not oblivious to all the other aspects, like you talked about, how, you know, it could be like, hey, I'm not present with all my buddies, and like I don't want to tell this story.
Let me say
like
this.
I had a story, and I don't know if anybody's going to hear it. I was playing with a streamer, and
oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I'm not going to say who. I mean, he was a nice guy and everything, but the experience was kind of not.
He was so nice.
Good.
Great.
He was nice, and he was great. He was friendly, but you know, he was doing his thing, and I can't fault him for that. You know, it's probably different if he was just, you know, wanting to have an experience with his buddies, but I wasn't his buddy. I was some random dude. I was also streaming, but like he was really involved with his stream, and I think it was honestly because he had a lot more folks watching. He kind of had to do that, right? But that doesn't disregard the fact that it was like not fun to play with him. It was like, okay, this kind of sucks. Yeah, you're just there. So,
but I think what you just said there, just giving that example, and I know you told me this, it kind of even brought awareness, like to me, in the situation before it gets to that point of, hey, you know, and I'll be the first to admit, you know, there's been a few times we'll be on the chat and I'll be like, thanks, man. Thanks for the likes. And you just going straight into it, and you just going. And then all of a sudden you're just sitting there like, okay, I'm just playing, like I'm just here and stuff. And so you kind of, like I said, I keep saying this, but I think you kind of got to have a balance of saying, hey, I'm doing great on live. I'm paying them attention every once in a while. Like say we have a break or intermission or something, but while I'm playing the game, and say we're playing Call of Duty Resurgence or something, Rebirth Island, while we're during the match, I'm concentrating on my buddies, right? We're having fun and concentrating on them. You can say, hey, thank you every once in a while, but like you're not sitting here having full conversations and paying more attention to the chat besides your friends.
Right.
And I think people have a real issue with that, man. And that's why I don't think they make it. I'm just being honest. I don't think so. But that's a good example, man. Because would you ever play with that streamer again or that guy?
I mean, it'd have to be a certain particular circumstance, but I'm probably not going to go like seek out
jumping out of the way
game time with them. Yeah. I'm sorry, I missed that part where you're talking about. What did you just say about? What was the last thing that you said? I think I misheard you there.
I can't remember exactly, but the last thing I was just kind of saying is how you just kind of have that balance, like where you got the chat up instead of talking to the chat constantly. Like say it's like an intermission or something like that. That might be the opportunity to sit here. What I've learned, guys, is definitely if you're trying to get into streaming, like during intermissions or something like that, you can concentrate on your chat a little bit and stuff while y'all waiting.
Yeah.
And then during the match, I feel like you need to be more intertwined with your buddies and everything, and kind of have that experience and
there you go.
And everything.
Okay, I'm glad I asked you, because I think that is a great thing to acknowledge and to have that balance, because it can both be fun. It absolutely can.
Yeah, it can.
And a lot of people are more concerned with like it's got to be entertaining, and of course you have to talk to your chat. I think I'm bad about that. When I'm streaming, I'm trying to do both things at once, and I don't stay
hard.
as in the game.
It's
and
hard.
You need to stay in the game. Like, I haven't had as many people in there talking at once as you have, so I haven't had. I mean, there has been times in the past where I was on Twitch, and then all of a sudden you'll have folks to like pop up. But a lot of those games I was playing was like story games, so I could like take that time to talk to them. It wasn't like
you can pause.
You got to stay zoned. Yeah, so I think that's very a very good thing to bring up, and keep aware.
And I think it gets to a point too, and not to kind of drag this out. This will be my last thing I say about it. But when you start getting more and more people in there, the community, your chat starts having conversations among themselves. Mm-hmm. They start making clips. They start talking among themselves, and they start engaging where you're not having to engage constantly. You're going to have to engage. You're going to have to talk to them. If during your match, every once in a while, you like die or something like that, and you say, oh, well, thank you for the gift, or, somebody sends you a gift, or somebody gives you a bunch of likes. Yes, you're going to have to say something, right? You're not just going to be a stick on the wall, but overall, you need to make sure you are enjoying what you're doing, and you have people like, say, I'll give a great example is you, Josh. When we go to get on Rebirth, if I sat there and I never spoke to you once we get in a match, what's going to drive you to want to play with me again? I'm just being honest. You know, if every time you get on with me, I'm talking to somebody else, what's the point of you getting on with me?
Yeah,
it's not.
I think eventually I would mention it, and I would be like, hey man. Yeah. But it's different if you don't have those types of friends that aren't going to be like, that are probably going to get offended and be like, well, then I don't want to play with you at all. Then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like,
and so who are you choosing at that point? You choosing your chat over close relationships, and you see how that can kind of take a toll as well. So I think it's really intertwined what you was talking about, about that balance, and about the gaming balance that you have in your life and stuff. Making entertainment only. It
probably gets really hairy if you have a bunch of people that start following you, and then you start making like some legitimate money. Then you got to kind of reevaluate everything all over again. You know what I mean?
Well, you kind of got. I think at that point you kind of got to reevaluate, because you're going from the passive income to, hey, is this something, and then you kind of got to have those conversations like I will possibly have with you, and be like, hey, Josh, I'm going to be doing this. You're welcome. Like, let's roll, but just giving you a heads up, and you kind of have that understanding, or, hey, tonight I'm not streaming. Let's just play something like you kind of have that aspect of it. And it's not a win-win. It's never going to be a win-win.
Yeah, and like, I'm not saying it's all negative either, because there's plenty of times where I'm like speaking with folks in your chat too, and it's fun. Like, it is a lot of fun. Yeah. So there's like both sides of it. There's gives and takes, and I think it's healthy to talk about all the aspects of it.
Well, I kind of got away too from the very beginning. I didn't mention, I know we talked about gaming, and I said we're going to get away from it, but this doesn't apply just for gaming, guys. I see a lot of people on TikTok doing cards, doing just talking among themselves, doing chats, doing battles and stuff. And if you start getting to a point where you're just doing that, and if that's your only money maker and you're going for it, then absolutely, I understand.
Yeah, make that money.
Yeah, but if you're making that as your secondary income and passive income and stuff like that, I don't think you need to give everything else up until you get to like the point that you just said.
Yeah.
to the point when you start making that money, you're like, okay,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is turning into a little
Like,
something here.
I used to ride dirt bikes a lot, and
Yeah.
I spent money on a dirt bike. Like, I bought it with my money. I wasn't sponsored or anything. I would go to the track. I would ride. I was spending my gas money.
That was a cool bike, man. That was a cool
Thank
bike.
you. Yeah, I was doing all that stuff. And, but if, let's just say I got really good and they're like, hey, listen, we want to sponsor you. We want to do this and that. I would kind of change how I was approaching it then. It wouldn't be just for fun. It would be like, okay, I'm going to take this really serious.
Yeah.
I'm going to get up early. I'm going to run. Like, this is going to be my job, and also have fun. You got to have sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do so that you can do the things that you want to do on like an expert level. It all just kind of works.
Like football.
Oh,
That's a good example.
Yeah.
You love football, you play football, and you go to college. And, I loved football. I didn't have to do much in high school, and I loved it. Played a little bit in college. And when I went to college, it was like, hey, I got to do this and this and this to be able to play and be able to enjoy what I love to do.
Yeah.
And it takes away from everything else, So it's just, but if that's your goal, if that's what you want to do, then, I mean, go all for it. But me, I enjoy just to play games when the kids go to bed, playing it with my best bud over here. And at the same time, I'm on my times, what I love to do. I'm like OCD when it comes to the little stuff and everything and doing these little videos, editing and stuff. I just love doing that sort of stuff. So I'll throw it out there. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But hey, any kind of passive income is extra income that you just didn't have before.
And it's crazy to think that you can even make passive income doing something like this. That's nuts. Like, there's people that make crazy amounts of money. Like, I've been doing like hard manual labor most of my life. Like, I build helicopters. I used to do like sheet metal work, and I used to weld and all that stuff before that. And, there's people that have made more money than I've made in my whole life, and like just on a couple streams.
Think about this.
It is
think
stupid.
about this.
And awesome.
How many times growing up have we we need to make some cash to go to the movies? It was like my dad, I never forget, my dad's like, well, you can go work with what's his name, and he's doing a house right now. You can you can put together some electrical outlets and stuff like that, or you can go and work in the I baled hay. Hay, like in the big hay in the back of the truck. I had to go do that one time. Hard work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hated it. But that's the only way to make income. Now, man, these kids can just get in front of a camera, play a video game, and get probably the same amount of money.
Yep.
With the followings.
Yep. And that's the different balance that I want to have with my kids is like, listen, I don't mind you doing all that, but you're going to do work too out on the land. You're going to learn to appreciate the times when you can sit in front of the computer and have a good time. Like,
you need to turn the shed right now. So you hear that, boy? You're going to be building that shed with me. You hear me? You're going to be building that shed with me.
Absolutely. He's going to be out there, and then he's going to get to play on his Switch after we get home. Like, there's a thing. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's a great conversation. It's probably a great place to start to wrap it up. And, if you think so
guys,
too, then
guys, one last thing I'm going to say before he wraps it up. If you're not telling your kids, hold that flashlight real tight while you're working on something, you're doing it all wrong. You got to at least do it one time. Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Hold that flashlight. God dang it.
Hold that flashlight, boy. What are you doing? Yeah, that is so awesome. Thank you for listening to the GGRated podcast. If you'd like to reach out anyway, like I said, we're on all the platforms. We're going to probably start back streaming on TikTok and all that until it goes under and it turns into what? What is the new app that's about?
People's talking about this own app, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a thing or not.
So maybe we'll be on that, but we're going to always be on YouTube, Spotify, all those places.
Always on YouTube.
Come check us out, and if you think this is interesting, share it with your other buddy. Please share and like and all that good stuff. Thanks for listening to the GGRated podcast.
Peace, guys. See y'all next time.